Wait a minute, is it live? Yeah.
Oh, Nubia. Nubia's in the house. Welcome, Nubia. Okay, got both computers on, one for backup. Yes, good seeing you. Yes, the weekend is going cool. We had a nice, cool little live yesterday. I got it broken up into chapters just in case you want to check it out without wasting time on stuff you don't want to see. Yes, you're the first one here. All right, here we go, everybody. Emotional and physical fitness. We're gonna start in just a couple minutes. Let people file in, let people file in and everything. Let me get a little entertainment pop up on here for a minute. And that's good to hear. Family in the town, that's the best feeling ever. Hi, Melinda's in the house. Melinda, welcome. Mama's in the house. Is in the house. Things Nata Jean, Dante, what's up, man? So we can get started here. I see you. Weird. All right, mic check, 1, 2. Did you guys hear the video? Could you guys hear the video? Let me know in the chat. For some reason, it's not coming up. Let's see if this will play. Oh, you can hear it? Okay. I'll start it again. Wait, can you hear? Okay, you could. Wait. Could you guys hear the video or not hear it? Okay, can you hear the Nubia, could you hear the video? Okay, so I got to fix that. Give me 1 second. Let me try something. It might be because it's playing on a different screen. Share screen. Can you hear the screen now?
Nope.
Nope. Always something. It's always freaking something. Let me try another browser.
This is exciting. We're going to be talking about mental health and Black women, a topic that
Here now,
for a
right?
long time we didn't hear a lot about,
Yes.
Hi, gorgeous.
but are slowly starting to hear more women like ourselves talk about mental health. And I know you have all heard the phrase, the strong Black woman. Trisha, when you hear the term strong Black woman, that's your reaction.
I reject it. I dislike
Miss
it
Melinda.
greatly.
Yeah.
I
Savon in the
reject it.
house.
I know that it.
Savon is in the house. Welcome, Savon. Welcome, Melinda. Welcome, Nubia. Welcome, Tiff. Welcome, Boomer Sooner. Welcome, Dante. Thank you for coming through. Let's get this. Let's get this going.
It has its roots in slavery, in plantation labor, chattel slavery. It is this stereotype that was placed upon Black women to box us in, to manipulate us, to make us not see ourselves as full divine beings, to push us. Strong Black woman, to me, allows so much time for abuse and manipulation, for not resting, for burning yourself out. Like, we really have to look at what's systematically happening that's making us be so, traumatized by our pace of life. And so the strong Black woman has never been anything I've ever related with. Superwoman, I want rest, I want ease, I need help, help me now. I want help. And so I really like to dismantle and like pull back the veil around that term. Like, we shouldn't be claiming it.
It makes me think of a Malcolm X quote 60 years ago. Malcolm X said, "The most disrespected woman in America is the Black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the Black woman." 6 decades later, there are many people who would say not much has changed. And so when you think about the strong Black woman trope and the impacts of that, Ian, how do you feel about that?
I 100% believe that we need to remove the idea that every Black woman must be a strong Black woman.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that I don't think we've yet decided what Black women can be in this space that's left behind from that space. And the idea is, be yourself. Who is allowed to be themselves in this world, especially Black women? And I have to also highlight the fact that as a Black trans woman, a girl denied of my girlhood in Birmingham, Alabama, and growing up, and the model of womanhood that I tried to emulate and follow was the strong Black woman. And now I'm suddenly in this new space. Do we have space for soft Black women? For emotional Black women? For Black women who aren't really good at their jobs, but are great as people and human beings? Are we prepared to make space, and not just make space for, but honor the humanity of Black women who don't really have much to contribute as far as a product, yet have so much to contribute as far as people?
Dr. Williams, how often are these topics brought up in your office?
These conversations, I'd like to say, are common, but they're not. I was speaking at an engagement a few weeks ago, and a woman, people come up and they ask you questions later. And she said, "I think what you said was amazing, but can I ask you something? Who takes good care of you?" And I said, "You can't ask me that." She said, "Yes, I'm asking you." And I said, "I can't say." When we're talking about just taking that deep exhale, that's something that is not common. It's something that is like, okay, I'll find a special day.
When I talk about resting in the way I'm framing this work, it cannot happen by ourselves. No. Community care is right up there. We scream self-care, self-care, self-care. And it's like literally all you hear in the media is self-care, self-care, self-care. And I really want us to begin to shift towards thinking about community care. Those systems do not exist right now. Like, why are we like this? Why aren't we caring for each other?
Well, because we're afraid of each other. If we're not self-hating, then we're hating on you.
Do you think it's the idea of hurt people?
I think it comes from a few sources. I think self-hatred, absolutely. Jealousy, absolutely. My grandmother used to talk about crabs in the barrel.
Yeah, we've heard that.
We go up and you keep pulling us down.
Yeah.
I think they may also think there's not enough room for all of us.
The scarcity.
Because most of the time,
Yes.
you end up in a place, whether it's a workplace or whatever,
Yep.
you look around, if there's someone else, well, there's only room for one of us.
Scarcity model,
Exactly. So not
yes.
enough room for us. Each one of us, we don't know what our breaking point is. We look like we're all okay.
My naivete is that I just inherently believe that if I look at you, if I look at you,
Yeah.
if I look at you, and you look like me, it don't matter if there are slight differences or whatever. If you
Feel free to come up to the panel if you'd like to. We're going to get this started early and fast today.
if you black like we black, if we black,
There's some
we good. Even if you can't see yourself in me the way I see myself in you,
Yes.
I will grant you that humanity. And I will still work for you. I will still fight for you.
You know, we haven't even gotten to thriving yet.
No.
How do we thrive? How do you talk people into thriving?
Right. Come on. Come on.
You here, so
My grandmother,
Right.
she didn't think about her life. Neither did my mom.
Yeah,
And so this is really a new concept
it is.
for us, even in this time in our lives. So when we talk about trying to thrive, I think the underlying basis for all of this is that we inherently like who we are,
That's good.
and we will fight for who we are. That's how you thrive.
Being proud of who I am and whose I am. And also letting myself fall.
Yeah.
Letting myself go, in the past 2 years, deeper and darker than I've ever let myself go. That has been the key to it for me. Of just saying, okay, well, girl, I'm trying. I'm trying. And no one can say that I'm not.
When I think about other Black women in my life, like always boosting them up.
Okay, I think there's a general consensus of people and how we feel about this, because it's okay to have this discussion. It's let me put it this way, it's pertinent that we have this discussion, but the discussion with a trans woman is
Weird.
it's kind of it's offensive a little bit, because they don't have the experience of the Black woman. Their experience is solely their own. And our experience is completely different, because you're not you weren't born into this. And being a woman is more than changing your parts. And they still have the chromosomes of a male. They still have the psychology of a male. And so it's not the same thing. You can't discuss how it feels to be subjugated, to be castigated, to be denigrated as a Black woman. You can speak that way in terms of being a trans woman and how being a trans, how you're being subjugated as a trans, not how you're being subjugated as a woman, because that's not really your experience. Your subjugation is completely different from mine. And on top of that, they've made laws to protect you. And so Black men are doubly protected under the law, where Black women have no protection.
Agree. I think we should get more people up here to talk about it. There we go. All right. Let's get this chat started. Jem, you're on lead. I'm getting the fitness aspect ready.
Okay. Welcome, Siobhan. Welcome, Nubia.
Thanks, guys.
Alright,
Sorry
can
if
you
my
hear me?
dog is barking.
Yes, we can hear both of you. Okay.
Thanks, guys. Jem, hey, everybody. Hey, Siobhan. Hey, the whole panel in the chat. I just want to say hi. This is Nubia. I wanted to comment. I'm sorry my dog's barking, but I just wanted to say that I am a supporter of the LGBT community, but at the same time, I also think that womanhood, like when you are organically born a woman, it's something that's sacred, and it's just something that unfortunately, I mean, I'm not against gay people or in opposition to them, but at the same time, being an organic woman that was born a woman and like the things that we go through, and the things that we experience as organic women, it's not like a diss or knock against like trans women or against gay people or anything, but we all know like what we go through as women, and I don't think that that's something that I think that that's something that we have a right to kind of hold sacred, and that is not, you know, a trans woman is not going to have the same experience as an organic woman that was born a woman. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't mean to offend anybody, but I just don't agree with that. So I kind of hate when people do that because we go through so much as women, and I think that
Hmm.
that's something that we deserve, you know, acknowledgement for. So I don't agree with that when they
And
do that.
it's a shame that we have to sit and tap dance and tiptoe and ballet and plie around them when we're talking about this, as if we, you know, we have
Exactly.
to gently handle them because we don't want to offend them. But the offense is actually against us for not being able to freely talk about it.
I know, Jim, that's what I'm saying. Like, definitely, I agree with you. And I have so, I mean, I don't mean to sound cliche, like, you know, a racist person. Oh, I have black friends, or oh, I have
No,
friends of other
no, no, no,
races.
no.
You know what I
We
mean?
get, yeah, we get that, we understand it, but my problem is that black women have it's like we're forced to include everybody in our conversation,
I
or
know,
we're
like,
looked
we're
at.
not allowed.
Right, we're not allowed that safe space of our own to
Right.
talk about our issues,
I
and
know, I
so
hate
we
that
have to.
too.
Yeah, and it's not, the thing about it is it has nothing to do with them. It has nothing to do with the hate against them. It has nothing to do with the angst against them. It's just not about you. It's simply, that's simply it. It's not about them.
Yeah,
And
definitely, Jim. And I think I always look at as Black women, and you know, I think that when people, you know, when you express some of the things that you've been through or our collective plight as Black women and the things that we kind of collectively experience, even though obviously, like, we're not a monolith, but we still kind of, you know, have that collective understanding and stuff amongst one another. And people expect us to kind of concede and acknowledge any and everyone else's experience or the
right,
things that, you know. But at the same time, I think that like, even when we look at the mammy term, okay, we've kind of been conditioned to kind of mule and to kind of, you know, carry everybody on our backs as Black women, and it's just not right. I mean, I'm supposed to be inclusive and kind of take a back seat to everybody else, and I'm supposed to kind of uh, push everyone up to the forefront, and I'm supposed to
right.
put my need and
Yes,
take a back seat for my needs.
yes.
It's not right, and that's what we're expected to do, is just to say, well, you know, uh, if a gay person, and I feel bad because I love gay people. I'm not against them or anything, but I'm just saying, like, a lot of the mannerisms and things like that, I feel like it was kind of borrowed from kind of Black woman culture and things. And we're expected not to say anything about that, or we're expected to kind of share and be inclusive in terms of our womanhood with everybody else. And we're not expected to be offended by that. And
Mhm.
I don't think that's right.
Siobhan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I just feel like we just kind of exchanged um I mean, it's like we were supposed to be trying to, leave certain things behind in regards to black men, and now we've taken in the trans community. It's just like I feel like we always are in a position to babysit someone else's plight, where to the
Yes.
point where we can't even fully begin to get into where we're trying to get into as women, as black women. So it's just like it's always a babysitting job, in my opinion. And just off the fact that Nubia had to come in here, off the fact that we feel like we have to be apologetic, trying to step over how we're feeling. Once again, it's like, you know, we can't even have our own space of privacy, and it does take away our sacred, divine femininity
Yes.
within our own culture and within our womanhood, to the point where we're constantly trying to figure out how do we gauge between our own masculine and feminine energies by both sides of it, a male who is living the lifestyle of a woman. It's just, it's
Right.
very confusing. And I think that they want to keep, you know, something going on where they're trying to keep us in a state of delusion, and they're trying to continue
Right.
to spin us round and round and round, you know, with blindfold on. And we can't seem to get our vision and our focus, in which we come together and even try to figure out where we begin and end with our own traumas. You know,
Right.
you know, a panel, but it's like, how is she sitting there? How is this person sitting there and acting like they can even remotely identify with any struggle, while simultaneously holding on to their own community's struggle that we ourselves can't identify with?
Right. And
It's
that's
like
what I
it's
was
playing
saying.
both sides of the fence. You know, put your right
Right.
foot, put your left foot out, and shake it all about. Like this is, we doing the whole.
Right. That's what I was saying earlier, is that
So
their
yeah,
struggle
I'm
is
not feeling it.
Yeah, their struggle is completely different. They don't have the same struggle that we do as women. You know, your struggle is as a man fitting into the woman's world, which we aren't impeding you from doing. Black women aren't impeding you from doing that. So we to offer you a seat at the table, I think, is extremely graceful.
And you know
it's
where it
not-
really,
Go ahead, Sean.
right. But where
Can
it
you-
really
can you
gets
hear me?
dicey is if we're supposed to. Yeah. Can you hear me?
I think there's a lag between your
Okay.
device and ours.
A second, I'm just going to kick out some shout outs
It
real
might
quick.
be. Okay.
Shout outs to Benji, Masu, Tiff, Gemini, The Truth. Thank you for coming through. Diamond Princess is in the house. Tomas. We have
All things not June.
we have Melinda, of course, and I think that's all for now. Let's keep going.
You didn't shout out all things not a June.
All things not a Jean. I think I got her earlier, but just in case, all things not a Jean. Of course, Nubia Gould. Boomer Sooner is in the house. All right, let's keep it rolling.
Siobhan, can you hear us?
It's on.
I think it's a lag with the device.
Okay.
Siobhan, can you drop off and come back in?
I'm gonna jump out. Yeah, I'm gonna
There you
drop
go.
out and drop back in.
Oh, you're good now. Wait, no, go ahead and drop out and drop back in. Go ahead and drop out and drop back in.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I'll play some entertainment.
No, I was going to continue to talk about
Okay,
this.
go for it.
All right. So, I mean, it's what we keep talking about. It's like we're there's this incessant need for Black women to carry everything on their back. Every struggle, every corner of everything. It's like it's as though it's our responsibility as Black women. Like Siobhan was saying, we're supposed to babysit. We're always carrying around the bassinet, the pacifier, and the milk, because somebody is inevitably going to be thrown on our plate for us to carry them. And that's where it goes back into us the way that we were discussing last night about living a luxurious lifestyle is more than just spending money on luxury items. It's actually loving ourselves in luxury. It's actually resting. It's actually being able to be vulnerable and being able to be taken care of. We can't do that even with one another because this trope has been put on us for since we since we landed on the plantation, or since they enslaved the ones that were already here, however you want to think of it. But to keep inviting everyone to the party is doing ourselves a disservice. And we shouldn't have to apologize for being Black women. We shouldn't have to apologize for not offering a seat at the table with our struggles, because our struggles are different. To invite, just like there was this follow train, Black woman follow train on TikTok. And it was the reason it was started is because people were shadow banned, because they were pushing other content creators that weren't Black women up in the algorithm, and Black women weren't getting the views and they weren't getting the subscribers that other demographics were getting. So Black women said, okay, we'll just follow one another, we'll push one another up. And so then you have these other demographic of women getting upset because they were excluded. And it just blows my mind, especially with white women who don't understand it, to say, well, what if we did this and we said it was for white? And I've heard this over and over again. And like I was saying the other day, I think it was May and somebody else we were discussing going to all white universities. Well, a lot of times when you go to these universities, you're sitting in these classrooms and they expect you to speak for the whole of the Black community. Well, in one of my classes, because I went to Christian universities, in one of my classes, we were discussing the church. And one of the kids brought up, what if white preachers got up and said, they had a problem with preachers saying you're Black and you're beautiful. And so he said, what if white preachers got up and said, white people are beautiful because they're white? And one white guy got it. He was like, he wouldn't have to. So they don't even understand. They want to deny their privilege. It's like the world is built and made and shifted around you, especially the white woman. And so there is no need to say that white is beautiful, because you're the standard of beauty. Why would anybody need to say that to you? And so they have this problem with not being included. But I feel the same way about Black men, Black trans men. They have this thing with not being included in the conversation. It's not my responsibility to include you into anything. Again, it's this thing with men where they're not leaders and they don't feel like they need to be in the forefronts. They need someone to usher them in, and it's always the Black woman that needs to usher them in. It's always the Black woman that needs to take care and make sure they have a space. They have a safe space. It's insane and it's offensive, and we should be offended.
And it's how you know. It's how you know they're snatching. Like, this is how you know how powerful we are spiritually, because we do. You just hit the nail on the head. We do have to usher in everything. We usher in all type of trans everything. They are siphoning and using our energy. And that's why I said we can't even land the plane enough to try to have our own meeting in the ladies' room, because everybody keep coming up in there that don't belong.
Exactly. And then, and I, again, that's their community. I don't have a problem with that. But what I do have a problem with is them being thrown onto me. I have a problem with, I got to go in the bathroom and wonder if you've actually had the change, or are you looking at me? Because let's not pretend like that man, there wasn't a man who pretended like he was a trans and went into the women's prison and started impregnating a whole bunch of women. Let's not pretend that they don't take advantage. Yeah. Let's not pretend that they don't take advantages of the benefits of being a woman, but they really don't want all of what being a woman is. You can't even conceptualize what being a woman is. You can't even conceptualize from puberty. See, you think you say that I believe that I was a woman all my life, but your puberty is different from my puberty. And so you never get the full experiences. And you can't be injected enough with enough hormones. You can't have enough surgeries. You would have to have some psychological altering of your DNA on a scale that's unimaginable in order for you to understand what it is to be a woman. And they don't have that. So and
they were never young girls.
Exactly. You're offending me. I have a right to be offended. because you're not me. They want me to call myself sis. And I said, I will not rename myself to make you comfortable. I will not shrink my flower in order for you to bloom. That is not happening. I won't call myself anything but who I am and what I was created to be. Now, if you want to be whatever you want to be, that's fine. And you even had a group of males in the manosphere and in Red Pill talking about trans. We need to learn from trans women and how they're going to replace us. And it's crazy that you even have these comments and these conversations. It's like, and I even went back and forth with somebody in the comment section under Kendra G because she was featuring a trans woman. And the guy in the comments was like, they're going to replace you. I said, no, they're not going to replace me. You should be concerned. No, sir, I'm not at all concerned. Because a man that wants a woman wants he wants what he wants. If a man wants a trans woman, he wants a trans woman. That has nothing to do with me. We are not the same. And so I'm not going to sit here and hold and twiddle my thumbs and bite my fingernails because a man prefers a trans. It is what it is. And we know that they're depraved. And so any amount of mind juggling that we do around black men is going to run ourselves into a ground in a circle. Welcome, Melinda.
Hey there, everybody.
Hey, Melinda.
Hey there. I missed some of it. I was on the phone and stuff, but I don't know if you all know Flame Monroe. If you've ever heard, Flame Monroe is okay. Yeah, he.
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, one day it'd be good if like we could watch that. He was on the Breakfast Club, and he is someone who he really gets it. He calls himself a female impersonator because he's like, look, we got this from women, and he was in there was like a panel where he was in an argument with Hope Giselle, and Hope Giselle was one of the last people who came into the space demanding that black women call her a woman after had the surgery, and I mean bullying black women. I've been on their panels where they really hate black women. And that's why I hate when people think that black women aren't submissive. Black women are some of the most submissive people because it's like the acceptance of everybody. But I guess what I'd say, I hope Giselle says something true though. And when he said, everyone wants something from a black woman. Everyone wants something from a black woman.
Right.
And I thought that was so deep.
Right.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes. And I just think it really is true. And I saw that what I think is that you all, I have a prediction. What I believe is because again, these people, they can weaponize I guess it'll be transphobia or homophobia is what they'll say against black women. I think that black women will have to share genders and be called cis, but I don't think other races of women will.
No.
I listen. I'm not, okay. I'm hoping it's not true, but we, but again,
wait, Melinda.
It does start with us.
And it starts.
But do you think black women will fight?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we will, because of the problem is that we keep people keep trying to erase us, and at a point we're going to have to stand up and say, no, I am who I am, and I deserve my autonomy, and that's what I keep telling women every time I hit some place. I'm preaching this, I'm saying this, and when we start sharing this message, just as we shared the message, leave these no good, dirty foot Negroes alone. And no, I'm serious.
It's dirty foot. That I was out. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same. It once it takes root and people get a hold of it. Yes, because they've been forced down our throats. And
this class of triangulation.
Right.
Yeah.
As a male, they're still men. They still psychological.
Yes. Triangulation.
And the bullying is real because at the same time, I still realize there's still a man. The chromosomes are still what they are. I don't care how many hormones, how beautiful you look. It's like Irene Yvette had said on her show, she said, and I'm not crazy about her content a lot, but she said it's the height of misogyny when a man can say, I'm a woman. And it really is. I mean, talk about patriarchy. That's hella patriarchal. So, but
and
I
it
just wanted
puts them,
to say
like
that.
I was saying earlier, they are doubly protected again. It forms this protection
Right.
around them again.
And
So
I
they're
was on one
doubly
of the
protected.
panels.
They're living. They're
Go ahead, Siobhan.
Go ahead.
they're living. They're living a duplicitous life.
Yes.
Because you can't be a part of the woman's community and then still be trans. That's why I said this is very duplicitous. It's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You know, it is the hokey pokey, and they are spinning Black women round and round and round and round and round, and they're forcing us to be able to be inclusive. We're always doing that. Like now, so what? We're abandoning the dusties, and now we have to what? Pick up the trans people. So
Right.
that means that we're back to square one at this point.
Well, it's also a psychological, emotional manipulation for us.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it's we're always pushing ourselves at the bottom. So it's psychologically this, like you said, triangulation, where we're being indoctrinated to always suppress ourselves. We're being indoctrinated to always shrink ourselves so that other people can stand out. And I'm telling you, we are superhuman. Like Black women are super. We have to be. What is this fear? What is this always
Definitely
wanting to join us? What is this? Everything that we do, they want to copy. I'm telling you, we are divine beings.
Because this is pimp hoe stuff, though. This is pimp hoe rhetoric. They want to keep us as the bottom. We are bottom bees. That's what they want us to be. That's why we always have to babysit somebody.
It's literally like
have to babysit a plight.
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
we're the bottom.
and
Like
the thing about it is-
no offense, Black women, but I'm just calling it what it is, you know?
Yes.
And this is the thing about this, and this is what I always say. If a trans woman can change her mind, if she hadn't had the surgery, she can change her mind at any time and become a man again. That I don't have that option. I don't have that option.
Panel, and I
Just
was
like-
discussing
Can you
with
hear me?
them. I said, "Oh, hello."
Yeah, can you hear me? I was talking.
Oh,
Can you
yeah,
hear me?
I can. But
Oh,
if one day, that Flame Monroe, I have to say, because they don't like Flame Monroe now, because he's a man who I don't think he's had maybe implants and stuff, but he's like an older guy, and he's a comedian. But I really appreciate it, and that he's like, they don't even like him because they feel like he can flip flop out of it. But he was like, "Look, I'm not a woman. They are women. You can't take that from them." And he said, we're female impersonators. And what they do is called hyper femininity. It's like, because we don't even act like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so, but I think that I was on one of the panels and I said, look, our issues, I said, look, you're not a woman. Literally, y'all, it's like talking someone out of a delusion. And you really can't talk them down from it. And it's like, I said, well, I said, your movement can be about, the surgery. They have the hormones.
But they won't get the attention
dating.
that they get. They won't get the attention that they get unless they usurp the Black woman.
You're right. You're right.
Right.
I never even looked at it that way.
It's
See,
energy
that's not something
siphoning once again.
Right.
Oh,
That's
wow.
not something that's exclusive to them. They have to share that with other trans people.
But do you think they are delusional?
In what sense?
In the sense that, because my thing is I've never had to have surgery to become me. I was born and I grew into, to a woman. The fact that, some of them are very dead set in saying, look, we are women too. And it like it's like the bullying their way into what a woman is. And then kind of they're trying to get to where they're insisting on women using cis, like cis.
Right, and I
women.
spoke on that, and I refuse. I will never call
Right.
myself
Okay.
cis to make you feel comfortable. That's not on my birth certificate.
Do you think it's because they're men and they feel like because what do you think about the racial part of it though? Because is it a racial?
Let's slow down. We don't have to.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so I got so hyped when I saw this. Okay.
Yeah, you're trying to unpack a lot at one time.
Okay, I'm gonna go silent. Go silent. Listen.
No, you have
Right.
to
No,
be
yeah,
mindful,
right.
but you're trying to
No,
unpack
to
a lot.
answer.
Go ahead, Siobhan.
Mm-hmm. No, because I was trying
I'm
to
I'm
answer your
listening,
first
y'all.
question. No, because you had the first question you asked was if they're delusional. I think it's a combination. I think it goes either way. You either have those that are delusional or those that are hell bent on trying to make you get into a delusional state. That's why I said it's a whole idea of trickery where you're spinning round and round and you don't know, where you begin or end. So I think it's both sides of it. It just depends on the intent of the person, of the trans person.
Yes, because I
Because
wanted to be extremely, I wanted to be extremely
you have
careful.
people, you have those like Flame Monroe, or we're saying, do you have people who know better?
Yeah, I wanted to be
Right.
extremely careful in how we describe delusional. That's why I asked you in what sense, because we're not trying to label them as delusional because they have become trans women. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about
Right.
the delusion trying to convince us as women that we need to somehow invite them to the party, one, and number two, become something else so that they can be women and feel comfortable being women. That's not my responsibility. You decided to enter my world. You decided to change who you were to enter what we naturally are. And so you have to find your space. It's not up to me to invite you to that space. If you psychologically believe that's what you were born as, then you should have no problem entering into that realm. It's not up to me to usher you in and hold your hand and make you that. Because the problem is we've already birthed you, and we've already created a womb. We've already nurtured you in the womb for 10 months. So now you want us to be a womb for you again. And that's not our responsibility.
Right. That's what I'm babysitting. Black women
It's
have to
literally siphoning
babysit.
everything it's like drawing everything you have and insisting I'm going to be you, and you can't do anything about it. That's what I've heard on some of the panels. I mean, it's like they're saying stuff like, cis Black women are the ones who really need the help and stuff like that. So that's when I draw the line, because I'm like, you're right. I don't want to get into the to any. I want to take it as being mature about it as possible and sympathetic, but at some point you have to take you have to square up, because if not,
we'll be lost.
Yeah,
we will be lost.
Yeah.
Like we will be replaced if we don't speak up.
And I think that with other races, I use this word social contract that, kind of like they, I've not seen Caitlyn Jenner just go and bogart into other spaces, where the women of, his
that's
kinswomen.
But that's a whole different dynamic when you talk about white trans, and we can go into that later. But that's a whole different dynamic.
Okay.
Because of their privilege, they're already privileged.
I see. Okay.
Let me read this comment from Koja Malik. It is like the heavyset girl that loses a lot of weight is by the way. When they look in the mirror, they still see the overweight person. The physical changes, but the mindset remains. And that's exactly it. They still see themselves as men, and they're trying to convince themselves every day that they're women. And so in order to make them enable them to feel that way,
why they need the energy of Black women to do it.
Right. They need us to validate that their existence. And I've always felt like this. I don't just go out and befriend, like a lot of Black women will go out and befriend a lot of homosexual men or a lot of trans. I don't do that. I don't need that. I don't need to do that. And they do that for the reasons of having a male around them that's safe. That they're safe to be around, and they know this male is not going to ask for sex. But in doing so, in opening that door and welcoming them, again, you invite them to replace you. You invite them to suppress you because they are still men psychologically. And they still have those same the same mindset, the same triangulation, the same I want to subject you, the same those ideologies haven't changed. and I want to say this specifically about the whole community. And what I don't understand, what Governor DeSantis what he said was he didn't approve of African American studies tied together with the alphabet community. And it's important because I don't like DeSantis at all. I think he's evil. I think he's worse than 45 to me. But I do agree with what he's saying if he's specifically talking about tying the two together. And that's the danger. Why are those two things tied together? And I had people in under the news stream jumping me, and I was like, those two are not the same. Because that's all I asked in a post by itself. Why are the two tied together? And you had people underneath not understanding the ramifications of tying Black history and LGBTQ. It's not the same thing. I think Whoopi Goldberg was talking about, she was talking about it, but she's saying what she said was it's still even a play on, it's still tied together. You're still trying to tie Black history and LGBTQ together by saying that, well, there's LGBTQ in Black history, but LGBTQ is not Black history. You see what I'm saying? We didn't create LGBTQ.
No.
LGBTQ, it belongs to every race. So why is it that they need to be tied to Black studies?
Wow.
So I have
Yeah, because they're getting ready to. That shows you right there what their motive is.
Exactly. So we do ourselves a disservice. Black women we do ourselves a disservice by inviting everybody to the party. When we wake up and figure out that we need something for our own, we need to represent our own. We need to represent ourselves. And if you come to the party, it's still about us. We're not bringing your issues to the table. We're bringing our own issues to the table. And if you want a seat at the table, you're going to be quiet and listen. You could provide aid by being quiet, and we'll take you as allies if we understand that it's about us and not about you. And that's the problem that black people have had as a whole, especially Black women, is we allow other people to the party and they usurp the movement.
Exactly. Yeah, they come in kicking the door in, because really what it is too is, I don't think it's so much as them coming in saying that they're going to take over our lives, as much as you see it with these red pill spaces and manosphere spaces. They just want to be the authority over manhood and womanhood, because notice they know everything about men and women, but when it comes to women, we know nothing about men. So this is just across the board. That's why I said, it's just male behavior, because male behavior is to come in, infiltrate, and to dominate. That's just their base level. Yeah. So, so even in terms of the trans community, as far as male to female versus female to male, the female to males, I noticed, they stay more in their lane with it. They understand the process.
Because they're still women. Because they're still
right. Exactly.
Women.
Right. But whereas with the male to female.
Let me kick some shout outs real quick and then we can continue. Koja Malik is in the house. Benji's in the house. Monica's in the house. We also have Andre in the house. May the Alchemist is in the house. Boomer Sooner is still in the house. Southern Belle is in the house. A Lady is in the house. And Tiff is in the house. Let's keep it going.
Go ahead, Siobhan. Pick up where you left off. Please.
Yeah, it's just, I just feel like on a base level, it's just an infiltration, and to redefine the terms, especially for those of us who have already been adults by the time that these new terminologies came into place. And now you're forcing me to, to change how I feel about myself and how I view myself as a woman. Furthermore, what does the conversation look like? Like even the clip that we just showed, that we just viewed, these are a bunch of Black women who also were Black little girls. I don't know when that person that transitioned, but I would like them to think that transition would be the same as getting sober, where you're 10 years clean, you're 15 years clean, you're 15 years a woman. That's a difference.
Right.
Yeah. So even a lot of this movement is in its infancy. So here you are, 45-year-old trans male to female. I'm a hypothetically 45-year-old Black woman. We're not the same age. You transitioned 15 years ago at 30.
Right.
So you're living
right.
you're still coming into womanhood completely different than I am, even by default, even mathematically speaking. So it doesn't make any sense, because then you're still going to have to be quiet in the room when we're talking about junior high and high school.
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Okay, because you were probably the little boy that was grabbing at my chest.
Right. Or you were the boy hiding in the bathroom confused because you couldn't come out, or you didn't know who you were, or whatever that looks like.
And then again, you have some that become that. Now, I'm going to speak on this. I'm not going to go in. I'm going to go into great detail, as much detail as I think I need to, about this subject, because you brought it up, Melinda, with the what is Kit Jenner? What's his name? What's her name?
I still call him Bruce Jenner, but Caitlyn Jenner.
Okay, let me break this one down for you. You had a man who was famous in his own right as an Olympian, married this woman who was famous in her own right, who had a house full of women, who was essentially usurped by these women and overshadowed by these women, who was no longer even seen. He was essentially invisible as a white man. So, and my theory is he was probably impotent when he decided to go ahead and make the change into becoming a woman. So now he's even more privileged than he was as a white male. Now he's privileged not only as a white male that changed to a white woman, he's also privileged as a trans. And so now he has all of the privileges that the U.S. has to offer.
I want to say I agree with that, because I saw an interview where he was sitting with Kris Jenner, and they were talking, and it was almost like a battle where Chris's face almost looked like I've been overpowered, I've been outwitted, I've been outdone, because this is a white male. And I think that Bruce had been doing this for years and years, and this was always something he did, probably with the dressing up first. But now he went all the way with it. But I think you are right. I think that there's a power that still, because he is a white male and he's conservative. Did y'all know that? Because he still, he speaks on behalf of he doesn't want.
And that's another thing where I say they're hypocrites, because
I would say he's a hypocrite.
A lot of them,
he's a hypocrite. But he doesn't want children to be. He doesn't want the children to be people to take advantage of children early, where in other words, he still wants parents to have the rights to be protective of their children, and not the schools and stuff like that. But you're right. He still does. And at the end of the day, you're right. So the difference then, when it comes to then Black men who transition this way, I think it's so, okay, my question to you, Bruce Jenner doesn't have to throw around weight to anyone or to invade white women's circles, because he's already a white male. So what about when Black men do it? So Black men are needing to extra assert some authority. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
To Black women.
Yes. Now I can tell you, I was already telling you how to be a woman. Now I can really tell you how to be a woman, because I see myself as a woman. And I see myself as the ultimate authority on womanhood. What was that guy, the sexy Santana? Is that what that person's name is? Telling
Saucy. Saucy Santana.
Oh, Saucy. Yeah. I don't even know their names, but I hear things every now and then saying that we owe them something. They taught us how to be women, like how Sway, sir. When you came out of a woman, how is it that you're teaching me how to be a woman when you still can't go through the womanly things that I go through? So how is it that you're teaching me how to be a woman? And this is the danger in inviting these people to the party.
Well, interestingly enough, Funky Dineva said that on the on TGIF. You know, and Claudia Jordan's the biracial woman who hosts with Al Reynolds and Funky Dineva and herself, TGIF. And Funky Dineva said this to Claudia. He said, you know, because he said the gays taught we taught y'all femininity. Now, she got on him, and she took care of that. She wrapped him up. She said, no, you know, you're not a woman. And she said, you didn't teach us, you know, anything. And he was kind of quiet, but it was like, even him, you know, he used to dress up and stuff.
Just because they don't have a D anymore doesn't mean the audacity went away.
Right. Yeah. And he still does. He would just dress up. But I guess my next, yeah, because you know what, I had thought that I had put all this
But we
to
know
bed
as women
months ago.
So,
but we know that's not really. Can we agree that that's not feminine anyway? That they're not displaying femininity?
It's hyper femininity, right?
It's an exaggeration.
It's an exaggeration.
And we need to stop calling it
Right.
femininity because it's not.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, it's an
really like
exaggerated.
they're
It's an
acting.
exaggerated caricaturization.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an exaggerated caricaturization of what a woman is, because we don't act like that even with each other. Like, it's, you know, we and all of that, but we're regular people. So we're not sitting there staying on that kind of level all the time. It's not performative like that. We don't have to perform.
Yes, right. They're very performative. So I mean, I don't know how far this will go, but I do know that at some point we will, though, need to address it on a political level, you know, at least even in that area. That's something that we will have to do, because if not, you know, again, everything, you know, we can, it's good to be liberal in a lot of areas, especially, you know, for humanity's sake. I get that. But conservatism for humanity's sake is also good. You know, how does the Bible say, and I'm not even so big on the Bible, but they're moving the foundations. You know, when you start to move the foundations, and nobody's safe. And to me, that's why we're seeing so much more of I don't want to take this conversation to this other level, but it's
we're going to transition into to the physical health aspect of.
Okay,
It's a good conversation, and it apparently needs to be. We need to talk about it more because it is very important. It's extremely.
We are unprotected.
As a matter of fact, it's vital that we have this conversation.
Yes.
So we will have to schedule a time
Yeah.
where we can talk about this, because
but
we do need people. We need every woman to get on the train, just like they wanted to talk about divesting, moving away from a certain mindset. We need to again. If we're going to do true divestment, it's divestment away from those things too, so that we can have a safe space for, as women, as natural born women, where we can be free to be us and have the conversations that we need to have to propel ourselves forward. But we're going to move on to the physical aspect of this section.
Okay. All righty. Okay.
No volume. We can't hear. We can't hear it, DJ.
God damn it.
Yeah, still no sound.
Okay, hold on one second.
Yes, we'll have to schedule. We'll do some research, gather some videos, and have this as a topic specifically. And we'll also, even though it'll be a little contentious, bring politics into it as well, because that's also part of the discussion that needs to
in the gym after a week.
Okay, did that come through?
Yes.
Okay.
Gym after a week.
see you again. But it's not insane. Just gotta let me on man. Come in, I know it's on your brain. You probably open your wallet. I think it's a real thing. Or is it just a one night stand? Oh, straight up now, tell me, do you really wanna love me forever? Oh, oh.
You were hurt by someone you trusted.
Yeah.
Like the family member who abused you.
Yeah.
Which made you feel powerless again. It's cool. Just release this.
Wow, when I saw that scene from Atlanta, I knew I had to talk about it on this week's Cross Connection because it's really not something we see on TV every day, and that's Black men in therapy. And of course, you may remember Kendrick Lamar's album, which dropped this summer, that also explores this very timely topic. Now, according to researchers, Black men are about half as likely to pursue counseling as their white counterparts when experiencing anxiety or depression. Well, the first step in breaking that stigma is to talk about it. And so here with me is Dr. Michael A. Lindsay. He's Dean of the NYU Silver School of Social Work. And back with us is Dr. Jason Johnson. Mike, I want to start with you. Dr. Mike, my Morehouse man on set with me. Great to have you here with me on set, seriously. And I just, I've noticed that this conversation around therapy and Black men is becoming normalized, but maybe not normalized to the extent which it needs to be. Why do you think that's happening now?
Well, I think the pandemic has certainly had an impact on how people are being in touch with their emotions and their psychology, if you will. People are being encouraged to talk about how the pandemic has impacted them. And I think it's a great thing because for so long, there's been so much stigma related to talking about these issues. And so, the time is really perfect for us to be having these conversations because so many people are hurting as a result of what has transpired in the pandemic.
Yeah, it's nice to see. Jason, I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, getting in all up in your biz. But seriously, have you gone to therapy before?
I have, and I actually really debated as to whether I was going to answer this question because it's not so much a fear of threatened masculinity. I just never wanted to really talk about it. But yes, I actually had a therapist. I was uncomfortable, frankly, and I felt like the world doesn't need to know. But you realize that having conversations with the other brothers in my life about their therapy journeys have been helpful. I was in therapy when I was in school because I thought, maybe I'm just stressed. Graduate school when I was getting my doctorate, because I thought, maybe I'm just stressed. But it's like, oh no, this is anxiety. I'm not sleeping. I'm not eating well. And it was a critical part of me moving forward. And I had the rare experience, and I'd love to hear what Dr. Lindsay thinks about this. I actually had a very good experience with a white therapist. Since then, I've never interacted with a white therapist, but I had a white male therapist who the first thing he said to me is, are you comfortable with talking to a white guy about this? Because I understand if you're not. So that's what built a really good relationship.
That makes a really good point, though, because there does seem to be a necessity for cultural competency when talking to. So when we talk about Black men in therapy, there's also a delta when it comes to Black men therapists.
That's right.
So how can that be addressed?
So what we know is that only about 4% of the mental health workforce are actually Black.
Wow.
And so as a dean of a school of social work, the Silver School of Social Work, it's really important for me to bridge that divide by bringing more people of color, people from historically marginalized populations into the profession, showing them that, you can do well if you come into the behavioral health workforce. And so, to Jason's point, I think that so many people struggle with, I want to see a Black therapist. I want to see someone that looks like me. And I often tell folks the most important thing is to see someone, right? And then work it out. Just like we have to go to various beauticians or barbers until we find the right fit. Sometimes we have to go through that process until we get the right one. But to go to someone is really, really critical.
I want to stop it right there for a second. Basically, this is an important thing. So 4% of those of those practitioners for Black people is for the African American community. That's kind of small, but at the same time, Black men rarely go, though we have probably the most reason to go. So I wanted to make sure that was addressed as well. This is for Black men. So let's keep it going.
Yo, what you doing, man? What you doing, man? What I doing? What I doing? I can't eat that, man. You just keep for training. I've been driving behind you for 1 hour. You can't stay committed for 1 hour? I'm trying. You trying what? I'm trying. How you gonna lose weight? How you gonna lose weight? You gotta stay committed, man. This is no game. This is a life and death situation. I'm not gonna waste my time training you, then after training you eating donuts. Come on, man. It's a disappointment in you, man. Hey, yo, my nigga, we up. All right. Put these chips away. You know you're not supposed to be eating that shit. I know. It's my cheat day, nigga. It's my cheat day. Hawk is going to I don't give a fuck about Hawk. I don't give a fuck about Hawk. Right. Hawk can't beat me. Yeah, fuck him. What you mean? It's this. Oh, the is this. The fuck is you doing, fat? Huh? That's him, bro. Nothing. Eating that. Who the fuck is that? Stop your ass. You be on a diet. You hanging with this, eating that dumb shit. It's him, bro. That's it. Sorry.
Yo, bro, I got you this, my nigga.
We're good looking. You giving me that shit? Stop giving me that shit. Stop eating that shit, cuz. Stop eating that shit. Shit is poison. Let's go, Tim. Pull up, baby. Tim, pull up. You got this. Let's go, Tim. Let's go, Tim. Man, what you doing, bro? You gotta do the pull up. What you mean you can't? Why you using the word you can't? Don't never use the word you can't. What's wrong with you, man? You can't even try. You can't try. Come on, get up there, man. Get up there.
All right, Creative Solution is in the house. Monica is in the house.
But every night, you out there running around, running these streets, smoking and drinking that nasty Hennessy. You can't pull yourself up. I got something for you. All right, Curtis, man, do it. Can you do something? Come on, man, you gotta want it. You gotta want it. You gotta go dig in your heart and want it. Ain't nobody gonna give you nothing out of it.
Monica, good point. He's not exactly a trainer for everybody. Yeah, you know, he's not a trainer for everybody. He is not a trainer for everybody. So we're going to get into our little fitness section right now. Let's get it down. Let's get it done. Start with Black women's fitness first, and then go into Black men's fitness and dual fitness for both people. Couple. All right, all right. I'm going to start with Siobhan and Melinda. Let's start with Siobhan first. What do you guys think you need to work on the most in your fitness journey?
Ooh. Oh, come back to me for that. Let me think of
Okay.
that.
How about you, Melinda? Okay, how about
Okay, I got my mic. Yeah, the mic was issue. You know what? I do need to do more, but after kind of listening for the past 2 weeks, y'all, I got to start. The physical is okay, 'cause, I've gotten that together. I think I have to start working on mental stuff and then get back to the physical, because I do need to, maintain it. I think that's where I have to make the connection, because even just talking to you all and learning, I'm making a lot of connections with myself. I didn't want to go that deep with this, but I'm just saying, putting the mental stuff back together so that I can maintain what I've done physically. That's what I have to do.
That's
weightlifting, but weights.
Yeah, that's one of the most vital things that's one of the most vital things that you can do, because everybody knows that it takes you to be mentally involved. You have to commit yourself mentally to your physical activity, and if you're not in it mentally, it's you won't continue it. It will be something you pick up, something you put down, something you pick up, something you put down. So it's more mental than physical in all actuality. And it's so easy when you're busy every day and all day to not do it.
Yeah.
And when I worked in one hospital that I worked at, it was easier to get my physical activity in, because we would just run the stairs. We would go during our break stairs, and believe it or not, doing those stairs is like almost a whole body workout, because you get your cardio and you get your legs, and you're building the biggest muscles in your body. And so if you can manage to eat properly and do that, you have a workout right there at work. So, but it's a mental thing. It's getting into it mentally. And we have so many things that a lot of us have a lot of things that are going on that distract us from that, or that impedes us from mentally getting into a rhythm of doing it and being consistent, because it takes consistency.
I would say weights, though. That was my answer to weights.
Okay.
Melinda, yeah, I think the same for me too. Yeah, with the weights.
Melinda, do you have an area in around your house where you can walk?
Yeah, I do. We have the bike trail. The bike trail, because I'm realizing now, like, I have a lot of anxiety that I have let go for years, and that's kind of what I'm dealing with now. And so that kind of has hindered me from getting out there like I used to, because I really did enjoy my bike and the bike trail. It connects to downtown and everywhere. So I want to get back to that, but yeah.
What aspects of weights were you and Siobhan talking about? You go first.
Just little dumbbells, just something where I can just kind of concentrate just on that, to do some more tone, because I've always been the cardio person, dropping a lot of fat, so I did that, and I just think that I need to work on that also. I was never good at doing both things. It was always just kind of strictly cardio for me. So yeah, I would really like to get some, toning.
In reference to your anxiety, believe it or not, I had anxiety, a great deal of anxiety as well. The reason why I mentioned walking is that walking is especially when you have a quiet area to walk, it can be very therapeutic. I mean, I used to do it when I used to be worried about something, and every moment I got, if I felt like I was getting a little hyper, I went for a walk. Obviously, this only works if you're in a relaxing area, because if you have to worry about where you're walking, then it won't really help you, because then you get anxiety about where your surroundings.
Right.
It's something I would strongly recommend you try. And then at the same time, it's kind of like a double. It's kind of like you get double bang for your buck, because it also helps your body, your body burn calories and heal at the same time. So, and it's something that perfect to do. Walking is something perfect to do, especially after a workout, because it allows you to burn extended calories, and then at the same time, kind of chill you out from your strenuous workout.
Yeah, walking is definitely good for anxiety. It's the best actually outside of
I've never done it for
swimming.
that. Yeah, I've never even done it for that, y'all. But now I guess it'll kind of help me because, you know, like I'll go listen to our, you know, these live streams and stuff, and I listen to myself, and I'm like, I want to apologize if I interrupt and stuff, because sometimes I think I get so anxious, I overtalk or I interrupt. I just want to apologize for that, and you know, to be more aware of it. But for the first time, I will start to do walking for the purpose of helping with my anxiety, and you know, so yeah. And I've been a nurse a long time, and y'all, and I that's stressful too, but. So I've just never dealt with my anxiety. I've never wanted to admit that I even, you know, had it. So that's a part of it too. So, but thank you. I didn't mean to go deep with this, but I just needed to say
this is actually this is actually some good work right here. I do have another question. Do you find yourself rushing a lot? Like rushing to work or rushing to go do something?
Okay. Oh, I have to be at work like I'm an hour early, you know, to where when I get there, if I can't find out everything I need, I get anxious. If something interrupts, I guess, my rhythm of like giving, let's say, meds, I will get really anxious, and I feel like I'm not going to get it done. So I feel very nervous and just, I don't know.
Have you tried,
I feel like it's just
other than maybe allotting more time to get to work and whatever, have you tried exercises like just standing in one spot for 60 seconds, just standing there?
I've never done that. I always thought that things like that, like people say deep breath and breathing, I always thought it was ineffective. I just never really took it seriously. So I haven't.
You'll be surprised on how that'll help too. What I mean is that whenever you feel, obviously you can't do it if you're in the middle of an emergency, right? But let's say you're not, right? And obviously if you're not, you don't want to do this in front of your boss either, but at home or other times when you have a break, just stand in one spot for a whole minute and either think of something relaxing or do take deep breaths, but just try standing in one spot.
And Melinda, we realize that's hard to do when you're in nursing, because when you're standing in that one spot, somebody is wanting that one spot of your time. So what I advise, like when because you guys have the Pyxis system for dispensing meds. Is that what you? So when you go into that, when you go into that little closet where the Pyxis is, when you start your shift, put on your headphones for a few minutes while you're doing that, whatever your favorite music is, to help you decompress at the Pyxis machine. Because when it's gonna be rough when you're going out, because you're gonna have call lights, you're gonna be trying to concentrate on making sure you verify all the identifiable information. But if you do that before you head out, while you're getting your meds together in that Pyxis area, you put that music on, and it'll help propel you into what you need to do, because it's your favorite music. It's stimulating and it relaxes you. So that's what you can do right there in that moment. And even when you go back to your computer, when you start charting, put your music back on as much as you can have it on, so that it can calm you down. Because it's hard to do that, and it's hard to get that alone time in that moment to decompress in nursing. But if you're at that desk and you're doing your charting, and you could put your music on, or when you're at the Pyxis machine, you throw your music on real quick, then you have that time, that little bit of time to do you. And then on your break, you can get away from that area and hit the stairs.
You know, I will. I'm gonna tell y'all, in the 26 years I'm in tell you how I've probably had in 26 years, literally probably taken 20 breaks total. I don't like I don't take breaks because I feel like something's going to happen while I'm gone. So again, all this stuff, and I look at nurses who do, and they take their break and they insist on it and they don't want to be bothered on it. And I finally look at this, look, all this time that's passed. I need to start doing that because, I still have to work. I still have to, do, for the meantime, this is my career. It's all I know. Right. So, and then I'm, then the moving. So I got that kind of anxiety too, like leaving Houston, moving, but this has been with me a long time. If y'all say that these things work, I'm going to try them and I'll report back to you, because I will report back to you, but I've had this for so many years and I didn't know what it really was. And I have nurses who take medicine, so I don't take any, any medicine.
Yeah, a lot of
but
they do. A lot of them take medicine. What do you do what's your commute time?
I do agency now, so I'll go to like Clear Lakes for maybe 45 minutes when I work, and I probably get 2 to 3 shifts a week. So the commute time is about 45 minutes, and I love driving. That's something I do love. So I enjoy driving.
Yeah. So what do you do during your commute? What is your mind like during your commute?
I'll listen to like YouTube.
This type of what type of
my mind is okay until I get there, and then I'm in war mode. Then I'm literally like, okay,
So if you're
here we go.
If you're in war mode, when you get there, you need to be in pre-war mode. You need to be to center your mind in pre-war mode. And if you're listening to certain things on YouTube, like the train wrecks, that's not getting your mind ready for
right.
Yeah. So
you're right.
I had my commute was the same time, and I listened to. For me, it was different during my first commute. And my last commute. My first commute would be music. My last commute would be spiritual. So I listened to some pastors on my way home. But my first commute would be music. And so you listening to certain stuff on YouTube before you go is like having a war before you go to war.
It is.
So I advise you not to make YouTube I mean, once a week, every other day, every other time, or whatever. But you need to get your mind ready for the war that you feel like you're getting ready to enter, and you have to. It's hard a lot of times to take breaks, especially as nurses, and then it's unhealthy because even in that you're not even eating properly. You're not even getting to sit down and really consume your food properly. So you're going to have to make that time, even if you only take one of your 15-minute breaks. You got to take at least one of them. You have to, for your mental well-being and for your physical well-being. You have to, even if you do nothing on it, you need that time for yourself. And I know a lot of nurses will go down and sit in their car for that 15 minutes.
Yeah, some people do. They just go out, just leave the building. And that's, you're right. Well, I'm okay. So that, because I like opera, so I'll start kind of focusing more on that.
Opera
and then staying in one place.
Opera is soothing, and people don't. I love classical music. I love opera. I love classical
beautiful.
Music. It's very soothing. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, thank y'all for the tips. I'm going to employ those, and I will let you know.
All right, Siobhan.
Okay.
We're back to you.
No, I was just saying that I needed to work on getting back into weights because I don't have a problem walking or anything like that. It's just the weights more so because I do a lot of lifting, but I'm really trying to cut back on that. I mean, and when I mean lifting for all of my, for my career and my hobbies and my side hustles. So I'm always physically busy, but I notice that I need to actually get into some more, weightlifting and strengthening just outside of, waiting until I show up for a job or something and have to do it. So.
Cool.
Creative, hi. Welcome to the stage. What do you have to say?
Oh, Only thing I can say that I could work on is endurance. I just want to be able to run at a longer distance because sometimes after it's like a half a mile, I just be wanting to like give up. So I need to work on my endurance, I would say.
L-glutamine helps that.
She is correct. L-glutamine helps a lot, and so does let me grab the bottle. I'll be right back. Also music.
Yes, I wouldn't be able to do everything that I need to do if I didn't have the music. My music really, really motivates me to keep pushing through.
Yeah, Alaline helps a lot too.
Yeah, you gotta have music.
Yeah, creative. I've been in your situation too. I think it's more. Do you feel it's more of being bored than the run itself? Or do you catch yourself getting out of breath earlier than you feel you need to?
I'm getting out of breath. My legs and everything start burning. It is just like maybe it's a mental thing because I need to like keep pushing past that breaking point. Like
Have you tried pacing yourself, maybe slowing down a little bit?
yeah, but I think it's like a mental thing for me. I still be like, you know?
Tried alternating between walking and running.
Yes, I think that might be.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing wrong with walking. Let me tell you, a lot of bodybuilders who are trying to strip down for their competition, they don't run, they walk. We walk. It will burn fat just as good. Running is good for your heart, for cardio. Walking actually helps you burn more calories and it doesn't burn more calories. It just helps you burn more calories in opposed to stopping your exercise completely.
Hey DJ, do you have that video queued up with with Dr. Mike?
I think I do. Let's go through it. Boom. Before I start, I'm telling you this, creative, because I ran into that situation myself. I would run for a little bit, be out of breath, be kneeling over and stuff and keeling over, and it's like, damn, I don't want to do this shit. So I would either at the beginning I would stop and just say that's enough for the day. But then what I would do, but later on, what I started doing is just walking whenever until I caught my breath. You see what I'm saying? I will walk, catch my breath, and I might walk for the remainder of that exercise. Or I would, as soon as I felt comfortable enough to run, I would run for a little bit and then walk some more. Run for a little bit and then walk some more. Whenever I felt comfortable, the key was I made myself feel comfortable first. If you see what I'm saying, because duration is so important. Duration is so important. You're better off walking for 30 minutes than running for 10. So whatever gets you to that point is what you're looking for. So let me play this video. Here we go.
How to walk to get under 10% body.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Got it.
Fat. 10 simple tips. Hi, Dr. Mike Diamonds. That's me. Losing fat won't be as easy as just rubbing your belly away. In my 7 years of dieting and fat loss, cardio ranks as one of the most important tools. Comparing my 2022 transformation from June to September, there was one piece of cardio I incorporated that made me getting to 10% body fat so much easier. In my opinion, there isn't a much simpler and more powerful tool. If you want to burn calories and lose fat.
For a second, Venus Scorpio said this, and this is a damn good comment. Running is so hard on the ankles and knees, and it is. Nothing wrong with a cool walk. Do not be shamed thinking walking is the walk of shame. It is not. It's great exercise. Professional athletes use it. Professional bodybuilders, it's a staple. These are people who are super fit.
I was going to tell you what a cardiologist said to us years ago. He said, you can run if you want to. He said, walking's better. He said, but run. He said, you'll just be a beautiful corpse. I'm sorry. That was dark. You'll be a beautiful corpse.
That was a good one. That cardiologist was a pretty smart man.
without even breaking a sweat. Walking is the answer. Walking doesn't seem to
Monica has a good question here. Should a certain speed, say treadmill walking, a certain speed is you want to focus. This is really important. This is super important right here. Speed means nothing. What is important is your heart rate. And what is important is that you have a device that you can wear in your wrist or your chest that will measure that. So you want something, it really depends on your age. Monica, judging by your age, you look like you're in your 30s. So your heart rate that you want to keep will be different than mine. But I can tell you this, if you're in the 115s to 125, it's a good general 44. Please, woman, please. You do not look 44. Forget that. Anyway, Monica, there's a way that if you have like I have an Apple Watch, but if you have a Samsung watch or any of those other Fitbit kind of watches, there's software that goes with it. What you do is you put your age in there, you put your weight, you put your goals and everything, and it will automatically calculate the heart rate you're supposed to be at. But in general, 120 will work for just about anybody at or above 30 years of age. That 120, you can't go wrong with 120. If that's too high for you, if 120 is too high, you got cardio things you need to work on, and should be going to the doctors. So that's one thing you should focus on though. So again, everybody, if you do not have a fitness device for your heart rate, you should strongly consider getting one. It does not have to be expensive. There are some that can measure your heart rate accurately that are under $100. I believe Fitbit is one of the ones that do that. And I'm not trying to advertise for them. All I know is that in my expensive journey of trying to find an accurate heart rate monitor, Fitbits and Apple Watches were on the top of the list. Doesn't mean I'm telling you to go out and get an Apple Watch, especially if you don't have one. Fitbits are perfectly fine as well. But if you have an Apple Watch, I've seen people buy an Apple Watch and not even use a heart rate monitor on it, even though it has all that good stuff built into it. That is the key. Heart rate is how you measure. See, when your watch or when your system, whatever you use to measure your body fat or to measure what you're burning calories, they do it by heart rate 90% of the time. It's very important. So that's what I would use. Panel, do you have any questions or comments?
I know in your 20s, especially when I was doing that in my 20s, I would just stop and count, with a little hand watch or whatever. And 140s was a good range to have, in your 20s though. But I do have a question. What about gluten, y'all? Because I went to someone years ago and they said that just cutting gluten would help people lose weight. And I know gluten is like a protein, but
it's like a weird protein that's not that good for some reason. It's
right.
Not because of its protein, because obviously we know protein's good. It's something that it does to the body. And I don't know. I'll be honest with you, Melinda. I have not read up on gluten that much. I just stayed away from it, and it worked.
Okay, cool.
I want to go over Truth's question. I get to 170 or 180 sometimes. Is that too high? Truth, if you're 40 plus, that's kind of getting up there. It's not too high for a slim trim athlete doing their thing. 170, 180. I would call your doctor. Have them tell you. They know, especially if you've been to them. I would ask them, and then I would regulate that. If they say no, that's fine. then you're fine. If they say, you should be a little bit lower, I would regulate to that. That's why it's so important to have a heart rate monitor, because it's believe it or not, having a heart rate monitor watch probably would have saved Kevin Samuel's life, because you would know that something's going on if your heart rate would either your resting heart rate or your exercise heart rate was too high. People don't know that, but if your resting heart rate or your exercise heart rate is too high without any load without any extra load or standard load being put on your body, there's something your heart is working too hard for what it's putting out. So, but yes, 170 to 180, myself, I would be concerned myself, but I'm a lot older than you. Truth, I think I'm a lot older than Truth. Truth, I believe you're 40-ish, 35, 30, 40-ish, but there really is a formula to find out what your heart rate you're looking to, your target heart rate and your max heart rate is. I think there's some math you can do as well, which is your age minus your maximum heart rate for the given age minus something else. But the best, I think, if you Google, the best thing to do is Google my heart rate, my heart rate zone, Google heart rate zone for me. And then usually a chart will come up, and you put in your age, you put in your weight, you put in your goal, and it'll come up, it'll tell you your range. But the last thing you want to do though is if you're just starting your workout, do not go near your max. Do not go near your max. For the first, I would say, month, you should be right flat in the middle, which, believe it or not, usually comes around 120. Then start edging yourself up. You don't want to find out the hard way that you have a heart problem. You don't. So, and
I'd like to throw something in.
Oh, please do, Melinda. Go for it.
Also with the rate, like the 170s, 180s, the rate is one thing, but when it's certain rates are related to certain rhythms, what is a dysrhythmia. So like if you get an EKG, because I think that's a baseline EKG is something good for all of us to do, because sometimes we'll have, a lot of people have like AFib, and so that's that kind of rate is that rhythm is associated with high rates like that. So I would do that. So, you need to know your rhythm. And also, what else? Let's see. Yeah, I think an EKG, you can get them at these little medical places, or if you have insurance, just go ahead and have when you go to a doctor, have them do an EKG. Because with normal sinus rhythm, that's kind of high, because you could have something else going on. And they have medications for whatever that is, but at least get it diagnosed.
Right. And a good go-to is all things Nandagene says, taking baby aspirin, 81 milligrams is the best thing to take to help with blood pressure. It's, believe it or not, it's actually legit blood pressure med. They might want to give you something else, but the good thing about this is it helps against stroke. It helps against stroke.
Right, because a bad rhythm, like with fast like that, it's throwing clots, it's throwing blood. So what's like if it's not a regular rhythm, that's the issue. Is the rate is one thing, but the rhythm is another thing. So if taking aspirin, yes, and you may need another medication. Aspirin, daily aspirin is good, but I would still go and get an EKG. If you're working out and your heart rate gets up to like 180s, I would go to the doctor and just get an EKG. Because it's not going to be a rhythm that's helping you either. It's it's not even helping you.
One thing I don't know if you guys talked about it was that a lot of times when you go to the doctor, if you have to be your own advocate, and a lot of times some people are seen once a year, some people are seen twice a year, but you're your best advocate, and some things can be alleviated with through food. through changing diet and through exercise. And so a lot of times you may be put on medication for a specific thing, but ask about nutrition and ask about exercises that can help you with those things, especially when you're talking about hypertension, diabetes, and what's the other one? Hypertension, diabetes, and cholesterol.
Yeah, those definitely I think you can control through food, but a bad rhythm, they'll have to give you something for that one.
Truth. Yeah, you're 42. I would say, believe it or not, you're doing. I would keep it around 160 max for now until you get a full check on your cardiovascular system. I would keep it around 160 max. Probably you're doing just fine. 135, 145. You're burning some calories right there. You're doing good. Why? No, yeah, no need to risk it.
Yeah, and also all people aren't created equal. And so what you may function at, someone else may not function. And that's why Melinda is saying go ahead and make sure that your heart is actually operating the way that it should be. Your rhythm may be fine for you. It may not be normal for someone else, but it may be fine for you. Because I know for me, I function with low blood sugars. And they're always asking me, is this normal for you? And yes, it is. That's my norm. And I function well and don't have any problems. Like I have problems if my blood sugar gets over 90. And Melinda, that's like normal. But
Wow. I was gonna ask you that. I bet you're one of those people, if it gets to 90 or 120, you probably are falling asleep and sick.
Yeah, I'm sick. I function at like 54.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Girl, I'm jittery and passing out at that. Wow.
Nope, I'm perfectly fine.
Right. There was something. Oh, what fat burning supplements would you ladies suggest?
Nothing. Just.
Yeah, I don't use those. Yeah, I don't use those.
Yeah, I don't either.
I have to admit, I do drop some L-carnitine, but that's because.
Oh, that's what you mean, like amino acids?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like remember Rip Fuel from the 90s and 2000s. I thought you meant something like that.
That stuff is sent. That's almost as bad as
Fin.
Red Bull.
Yeah, I would say L-carnitine and L-glutamine.
Yep. That works for me. But let me play a little bit more of this and we'll come back. But this is we're getting some work done in here. We're getting some work done.
Qualify as cardio because it's easy. And when it comes to exercise, easy is usually equated to worthless. We do understand that you need to burn more calories than you eat to lose weight, establishing a caloric deficit through the diet. When it comes to fat loss, the only thing that matters is how many calories you burn versus how many calories you eat. Once the diet is in check, the next easiest thing you can.
That's a very good advice to a point, though. There's also, if you eat preservative-ridden food, it throws off your body's ability to burn fat. Just remember that. So just because you ate below your amount, but it's all McDonald's foods, right? But you burned, it's not going to work the same. It's not going to work the same as if you cooked your own burger. So believe it or not, in some cases, you can have a burger, but a cooked burger versus a McDonald's burger, they're not even really the same food group.
Right. And we have a video about that too, right?
Yes, sure do. Here we go.
Can do is walking. In my own personal experience, when walking was my main form of cardio, I saw an accelerated rate of fat loss. And you could see this comparing my 2019 competition prep, where cardio at the gym was my main form, versus cardio in 2022, where walking was my predominant form of cardio. Getting under 10% body fat was much easier walking. In this video, I'll be sharing 10 tips to get walking more and lose more fat.
At walking, I'm telling you, it's underrated. It's underrated. I'm telling you, it's And to me, I enjoy walking because it's relaxing to me more than running is. It's just that for me, that's how I feel.
No, I
A
agree with the
2017 study released by
I'm sorry, somebody.
No, I was saying I agree with the walking. Yeah, that's the least. I mean, that's just like the least you could do, but it means it means so much, you know. You just have to find different places. Don't stay in the same place. You know, drive somewhere and go take a walk, you know, and look at some nice scenery, and you'll be surprised how the time will pass by.
Exactly.
by the journal Nutrition divided 82 overweight men and women into two groups for 12 weeks. Both groups were subject to a caloric restricted diet. However, group 2 walked roughly 20 minutes every day. The results? The group that included walking lost an extra 3.5 pounds of fat from 20 minutes of daily walking. Imagine if they included an extra 1 or 2 20-minute walks a day. This supports why I was able to drop weight at a faster rate. In this video, I'll be sharing the 10 tips to increase your steps and to lose that belly fat for good. But before we dive in, a lot of research and editing goes into making a video like this. I work my ass off. Just do me one favor. If you wouldn't mind, gently bless the like button. It would be greatly appreciated. And if you enjoy this kind of content, subscribe and hit the notification bell if you're new. Let's kick it off. Tip 1. A common problem with getting any exercise at all is time. The same goes with walking. In my experience with myself and all of my clients, waking up an hour earlier seems to be the most simple solution to get a bulk of your steps out of the way. Taking a walk around your neighborhood in the morning, responding to all your messages or emails, listening to a podcast is an easy way to knock out 6,000 steps in your day. Another advantage of this is avoiding getting fatigued from vigorous exercise in the morning. Personally, the endorphins and mental clarity I get through walking in the morning is unmatched. Tip 2. At the gym, I highly recommend walking before your work.
That's how he said mental clarity.
This is the easiest way to warm up your body and joints. The main purpose behind warming up is to increase your core body temperature, which improves performance and reduces risk of injury. Doing this allows for proper blood circulation and readies the muscle for any tension. Doing 10 to 15 minutes pre-workout can easily help you hit anywhere between 1,000 to 1,500 steps in that session. Tip 3. Whenever you get the chance, walk. And let me explain. My strategy during prep was to always take a walk when I can. Granted that I have a Chow Chow Blue, I'm forced to walk. But the strategy I suggest to many of my friends and clients are, if you can, take a walk. For example, if your gym is 15 minutes away, rather than taking advantage of that and driving to the gym, the same goes for you going to the grocery store. Rather take a walk if possible. Tip 4. This can take a lot of self-discipline, but at any chance you get, take the stairs. If you live in an apartment building, you can drastically improve your steps and cardiovascular activity doing this alone. Tip 5. If needed, I always recommend to do your formal cardio after your workout. The reason being, you'll have the most energy before any workout. Dedicating those vital calories to the workout will infer more benefits and long-term withholding muscle compared to doing cardio first. Doing 20 minutes of walking or more post-workout is fantastic. If you do 10 minutes of your walking before your workout as a warm-up and then another 20 minutes post-workout, that gives you roughly 3,000 steps in the gym alone. Tip 6. Imagine finishing your workout. Creating the habit of parking your car far away from your location can help you burn more calories. What typically happens, your body finds intelligent ways to attenuate your need. Parking your car at the furthest parking spot at the gym or the grocery store.
It's safe.
Will make a massive impact if you do so consistently after a month. Tip 7. Professor Stuart Biddle of the Start Active, Stay Active report reviewed the evidence and recommended taking an active break from sitting every 30 minutes. A study showed that by trading 2 minutes of sitting for 2 minutes of light intensity activity each hour lowered the risk of premature death by 33%. Stand up every hour and walk around your apartment for 5 minutes. What I tend to do every hour, I get up and organize my kitchen or living room, Go get a cup of water to drink. My Apple Watch reminds me when I need to stand up. So I make a habit of getting up every hour and pace around for 5 minutes. Tip number 8 is take walks in the evening. So if you're working a 9 to 5, have an hour to 30 minutes to be able to go for a walk around your neighborhood or take a walk around a garden or a park near your area. And having these intentional walks in the evening are great stress relievers and also a fantastic way to make sure before you go to bed, you're capping your day off with steps. Having dedicated spaces within your day, just like you'd schedule in any other event in your day, having steps and going for walks is fantastic. Tip number 9 is a jump rope. Why I love jump ropes is that you can do them anywhere. You can do them in your apartment. I can do them in my office. And I'm not great at it, but I absolutely love it. The cardio is fantastic. It really does get your heart rate up there. And because you're jumping, those are considered steps. So that's a fantastic way to gather your steps. And then the final one is that in a typical gym routine, you have 21 sets. In between each and every single set, instead of sitting down on the bench, being on your phone, pace up and down the gym. This is a fantastic habit to build. I have the habit.
Pace up and down the gym. That's not, you can pace up and down around your apparatus where you're working around so nobody steals it. But I've done this before and basically you come back to somebody taking your spot. So maybe not around the gym unless you know that it's going to be there when you come back, but you can still pace back and forth when you are working out in front of the equipment you're using.
But of never sitting down, you'll be so surprised how many steps you can accumulate. And also another tip that I want to leave you with is using Stepper, or as you guys do know it as a Stairmaster, is a fantastic way to get in your steps. Personally, my favorite cardio tool of all time. So that is the video. Those are 10 tips that can help you with getting your steps up. And the way I tell all my clients is, if you can manage to get 8,000 steps a day, you're almost guaranteeing burning X amount of fat tissue off each and every single year, right? By the amount of steps. So you will almost never see a particular weight just because you're super diligent with getting your steps in. And that being said, I do have a few spots open for coaching. If you're interested in working with me, the link is in the description. And as I promised in the previous video, I am dropping that ebook for you guys. It's going to be in the description of this video for the first 10 to 20 minutes, I believe. So go in the link in the description, download that. You guys deserve it. I appreciate all of you for supporting me. And like the video if you did enjoy it. If you guys want me to drop the book in the next video, if you didn't get it, maybe you came 30 minutes late.
All right, so that we're going to go to the next video real quick. I want to show you an exercise that I want you to do. This is the barbell bent over row. The reason why I want you to do it is because regardless whether you have weight or not, you can do it. Even if you don't have bar weights, if you have save up for 2-gallon water bottles. If you buy milk or if you buy water, just don't throw them away. That's all you have to do. Put a little water in there so you can do this, and you can actually do a dumbbell version of this. But watch this closely. I want you to watch the form real quick. Here we go.
Set up to the bar so that it is centered over your feet in a hip-width stance. Bend at the hips and grip the bar using a double overhand grip with your arms just outside of your knees and thighs. This will be your starting position. Keeping your chest up and your back straight, push through your heels to move the bar upward. Once the bar passes the knees, aggressively pull it back into your body, pulling your shoulder blades together as you drive your hips forward into the bar. Lower the bar by bending at the hips and guiding it to the floor. Immediately transition into a barbell row position, bending at the hips so that your chest is nearly parallel to the ground. Keeping your core tight and back straight, perform a barbell row by pulling the bar upwards to your sternum. Lower the bar to the floor by extending your arms. This is one complete repetition.
That right there, I am telling you, this is something good right here. And I'll tell you why. It works your lower body and your upper body. It works the two largest groups on your body, literally. The bent over row, and the deadlift works your whole body. You need to start out light because you'll be surprised how this will get your heart rate up. But you
So
do
those
them
are those are two different exercises in one, right?
right.
So he's
being used in one. But he's doing. This is really a superset. So basically, what he's doing is he's doing one exercise first. With no rest, he goes into the other exercise.
So the first exercise is the deadlift, and the second one was the row, right?
Correct. But since the cool thing about it is the positioning is similar for both, but they still work. They work the thighs, the legs, the hamstring, the quad, the glutes, the quads, the hams, the shoulders, the back, the lats. It's like an all-in-one bargain workout. You can do about, when you get going, you can do about 5 or 6 of these, and you're going to burn some calories. Just be careful because it does get your heart rate up because you're working so much muscle tissue at the same time that, see, when you do arm curls, you're only working your biceps. Even if you do a bench press, all you do working is shoulders, chest, and a little bit of abs. This is working just about every muscle in your body because it needs to. Even if it's not the direct muscle group, it's a supportive muscle group. If you want to burn a lot of calories, this is a good exercise right here to do. An excellent exercise. But I'll tell you one thing though, you don't want to look like this guy leaving the gym.
Oh, buddy, you hit the legs today, huh? Oh, my boy. You all right, boss? Thank you. Boss, you good? Huh? You good? Oh, you doing that shaky. Shaky.
There's no.
That's complete muscle failure right there.
Wow. Yeah.
I felt similar to that day before yesterday.
That's a little bit too much right there.
Right, but you've done some workout when it's hard to go down the stairs as opposed to go up the stairs, or when you have to sit down and it's hard, you have to hold something to sit down because you worked out so hard.
Just one more quick video. We're not going to probably get through the whole thing because it's 16 minutes long, but we just want to get an idea what to eat, just to get some food for thought. No pun intended. Here we go. Get past his intro.
10 high protein foods you should be eating to lose belly fat fast. One macronutrient can make the difference between being skinny fat and being lean and muscular. When I implemented all the advice I'm about to share in this video, my physique changed. So did my clients Wayne, Montino, and Avalon, and all the hundreds of clients I've coached over the years. When I first started training, I watched hundreds of videos on fat loss and building muscle. A common theme that I would see with these videos was that you need to drink protein powder. Without doing the research, I went out and bought my first tub of protein powder with the hopes of seeing immediate results. I would take 2 scoops every day while pairing it with a horrible diet, thinking my daily protein intake was enough. Now, I did see results, but I could have maximized these results by implementing more protein to my diet? Absolutely. Protein functions as the primary catalyst for muscle growth and promotes fat loss, but only when it's done right. Protein is a macronutrient that some people struggle to get an appropriate amount in their diet in order to build muscle and lose fat, mainly because it's considered to be less palatable than other foods that are high in carbs and fats. In this video, I'll be showing you the 10 high protein meals to help you lose belly fat and build muscle in addition. But before we get to the 10 foods, let me explain what makes a good protein source. Firstly, is food's leucine content. As shown by studies, leucine is an essential amino acid in content and the digestibility of one. Chicken is the most commonly consumed high protein food and found to be cost effective. $1 of chicken breast gets you 26 grams of protein. The breast is considered to be the leanest part. It has little to no fat, but that's excluding the skin, which contains excess calories, adding anywhere between 3 to 4 times the amount of fat to your meal. So, if you're looking to maximize your protein intake with chicken, be sure to remove the skin, and you'll be getting a good amount of protein in. With 85 grams of chicken breast, you can easily get 27 grams of protein. Chicken is a protein source that can easily be found almost at any local supermarket or grocery store and can be incorporated into your lunch or dinner. A quick and easy chicken breast meal that you can use is using some soft tortilla wrap. Tilapia. Tilapia is popular, relatively inexpensive. Lean ground beef. Compared to the other sources of protein, lean ground beef can be more expensive at 11 grams of protein per dollar. Unfortunately, lean ground beef is a bit more expensive than regular ground beef, but it is surely worth the cost. Lean ground beef contains a good amount of protein compared to the other ground beefs. Reason being, per gram of lean ground beef, there's less fats. The goal is to remove as much fat from the diet as possible, and by adding lean ground beef
If you're on keto
diet, you're reducing the amount of fat you're ingesting. But by how much? Per 30 grams of lean ground beef, there's about 15 grams fat. When we compare this with regular ground beef, there's 62 grams of fat per 30 grams. Let's continue the video. Eggs and egg whites. We love a whole egg, especially because we can get 18 grams of protein per dollar. Having them scrambled with toast, boiled, making a delicious omelet, or even having it with a fried rice meal. Whole egg
be careful when you do the toast. It needs to be, I'm sorry, it's got to be that good bread. Don't be getting that cheap bread.
Contains a considerable amounts of calories and micronutrients that come with the egg yolk. All of that fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K in the eggs are found in the yolk. In addition, the yolk contains the healthy fats and cholesterol necessary for the production of hormones such as testosterone. When dieting, the yolk can add a considerable amount of fats to the diet that can make it difficult to incorporate. This is where,
and if you're on keto, you know what time it is. As long as you keep your calories down, you'll be fine. But if you go over that, that fat could kick you in the ass.
Where egg whites come in. 4 whole eggs are a total of 312 calories, 28 grams of protein, 2 grams of carbs, and 21 grams of fat. Those are amazing macros except for the high fats. Personally, on my current diet, that would take away half of my total fats for the day. 8 egg whites gives you the exact amount of protein and carbohydrates minus all the fats, and 40% less total calories at 137 calories. When making my breakfast meal, I sometimes add a whole egg with my egg whites to still have that delicious yolk in there. In general, egg whites are a game changer for anyone's diet. Whey protein. Whey is especially popular with athletes and bodybuilders because of its amino profile, which is high in leucine. Whey protein is a great substitute if you're unable.
Protein is okay too, but whey is a little bit better as far as protein content. But because I think P is missing something in it. I forgot what chain it is, but it's missing something.
To reach your protein intake.
Wait, can you repeat that? I didn't hear the first part of what you were saying.
Oh, whey protein is great, but a lot. Some people like to be all vegetarian, so pea protein works better for vegetarian. Unfortunately, though, pea protein is missing a certain amino acid in it that whey protein has. I can't remember what it is right now, but I'll look it up later.
Scoops of protein powder, you can get anywhere from 30 to 40 grams of protein, which is higher than most whole foods. Whey protein should be used as a supplement when you can reach your protein goals. It shouldn't be your primary substance for protein. Using this and other sources will work wonders for you. DeVries and colleagues describe consumption of whey protein has a robust ability.
Just eating it with something, a snack of something else. For some reason, it tends, for me at least, it seems to absorb better.
To stimulate muscle protein synthesis. In fact, whey protein has been found to stimulate muscle protein synthesis to a greater degree than other proteins such as casein and soy. Tuna. Canned tuna is also another great animal-based protein source that is very rich in protein. Believe it or not, tuna is into the top 3 of the cheapest protein sources, coming in at 34 grams of protein per dollar. The fat to protein ratio is so low. Out of all the protein sources on the list, it's almost purely protein.
Obviously, be careful what you mix it in with. If you put it in with something that's nasty, then it won't work. Do we have any questions or comments on the panel?
For me, when I tell you, for me to get into the groove, I have to go all in. It's all in or nothing for me. And so that's where I do the weighing of the food and everything. But I still wasn't able to get my protein in for the day, so I did have to supplement with the whey.
Melinda?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if someone is doing like low carb or something, let's say you don't really cook a lot, if you go and get omelets like at restaurants, be aware that they put like pancake batter in the omelet to make it fluffier. So it may not move your carbs that much, but just be aware of that.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they put some of the pancake batter in the omelet. That's why they're so fluffy like that. Mm-hmm.
Point. Good point.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that I ate out for when I was doing it, because it's hard to count when you're eating out and, at a lot of different places. I hardly eat out at all. I mean, really, I make most of my food at home, like the overwhelming majority of it. But the only thing that I did when I was eating out was a steak. And right now I'm in detox. And so my first meal will be 2 days in a row will be steak and apple. And that, believe it or not, you drop 2 pounds a day. If that's your only meal and you eat a steak and an apple, you'll drop 2 pounds immediately.
Wow.
All right. How about you, Siobhan? What do you think?
No, I'm just listening to you guys because I was unaware about a lot of things. I'm pretty, standard and basic. I don't really step too much far out because every time I turn around, it's always don't do this, don't do that. So it gets a little disenchanting. So I just kind of stick to, the basics of things. So I'm just learning from you guys. Thank you for
Understood.
Yeah, I just keep it real simple because you know how every time you turn around, it's like do this, do that. Like, and DJ just taught me with the protein shakes because it goes from what brand to use. Then they turn around, oh, don't use this, and then they say, and then I thought you only could drink it, so I didn't know that you could mix it in with other things. So it's just like it gets a little overwhelming. So it's just good to have this platform and to have you guys talk about it and have the knowledge of it, because I just stick to strictly smoothies or, strictly juicing and just all the regular basics that I know that I've always known were tried and true. But it's hard to get into this new age stuff because it's just so many different pros and cons to it. Every time you turn around, it's a new video telling you, or some new commentary telling you not to do it, to do it, so it gets confusing.
Agree.
One thing I will say is to do what works for you. And if you want to incorporate something, just one little thing, incorporate one little thing and see how your body responds to that. And have that and do that for a while so you're not overwhelmed, because it is very, very, very overwhelming. I had to, the protein shakes that I was getting, it was pre-made. They don't even make them anymore. So it's like, oh God, I have to figure out how to get the same nutrients and the same amount of protein in something that tastes good. And so I had to do a deep dive and a hunt for a product that worked. And I finally found something. I don't know if it's going to work because I was using the whey with milk protein, and I just wasn't seeing the same effect that I saw with the other protein the whey protein isolate that I was using. I wasn't seeing the same effect. So now that I have the whey protein isolate, it's in powder form. I'm going to see how it works. And sometimes it's a lot of trial and error. But if you do a little bit at a time, you won't be so overwhelmed with a lot of stuff. And you won't be discouraged where you just stop doing everything altogether.
Right. Yeah. Because remember when the keto diet hit, everybody got on it. Then they start coming out with these warnings. So I think it's just like things start to get extreme. And then, people dive in and then they get confused. And, then they forget that it is based off of, it is an individual journey. Everybody's not going to have, the same results.
Right. And I attempted to do keto, but what I do is a modified keto and low carb combination because I can't get that much fat either. I'm just not a foodie. And so everything doesn't work for me because I can't get the nutrients in like you would have to eat as much as you would have to eat. So that was my struggle.
All right, creative. You sleep?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
Okay, so I would say, through my life and on my journey, the one mineral that I really, really, really loved and I seen like drastic results and everything was Vitamin Mineral Green. And it's either you can you can mix it with some water or you can take the capsules. And like that really helps me with everything. And I think they have different products, but Vitamin Mineral Green, and then they had another one like it's called Earth, and that was really good because it had Shilajit in there. So those are I find like those are the very good products. It gets your energy levels up. It's good for working out. It's good for your overall body. So yeah, it was a Vitamin Mineral Green. You can find it on Amazon. It's pretty expensive, but it's worth the price. So
It's
that's
a
my
powder?
It has powder and capsules.
Oh, okay.
I give that 10 stars across the board.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Creative, would you mind doing a Q&A on vitamins next Sunday? Would that be okay?
Yeah, of course. You gotta tell me what time because I was waiting for you. I was like, it's all good.
Yeah, I'll give you the time. I'll set it up Monday so you know for the preceding Sunday.
Okay, no problem.
Fantastic. All right, everybody. I'd like to thank everyone for coming through. We have another live coming up pretty soon, so we have to close the fitness one down, and then we have the we have one coming up. It's about failing leadership of the red pill system. And if you have any comments, check that live out in I guess it's coming up soon. It's coming up real soon. So anybody check that out. Thank you so much for coming through. If you have any questions, feel free to post comments. If you haven't yet, please like the video if you feel like it helped you out a little bit. Thank you very much for coming through, and see you on later tonight.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all be safe.
Thank
too.
you. You doing another show?
Yeah, almost back to back.
Okay.
Okay, see you guys soon.